If you're moving to Seattle and trying to figure out where to buy, you've probably already gotten the generic answer. It depends on your lifestyle, and that's not really super helpful. I'm going to give you a real breakdown of 5 specific neighborhoods, what they actually cost, what the housing stock looks like, and what the commute situation is, and which one tends to be the right fit for each type of person. No filler. I've helped buyers purchase in all of these areas. I lived in them, I've gone to see them. Let's go. West Seattle is my top recommendation for buyers who want a neighborhood identity, a real commercial strip. There's definitely walkability in the neighborhood. You can get anywhere really quickly, and you still want a shot at a single family home with a yard for under $1 million. There are 3 different junctions in West Seattle all along California Avenue Southwest, and that's where the center of the action is. There's restaurants, there's coffee shops, there is a very cool Sunday farmers market in West Seattle, there's bars and a movie theater. It genuinely feels like a small town inside of a major city. And when I take out-of-state buyers there for the first time, a lot of them immediately say, this is what I was hoping Seattle would feel like. So here's the price reality for West Seattle. A 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home starts in the high 600,000s to low 800,000s, depending on the condition. And townhomes in the area are commonly 700 to 850,000 in that range. Single family homes with a yard and a garage start usually in the mid 800,000s. One thing buyers sometimes bring up, the West Seattle Bridge. It definitely cracked and closed for 2 years, a few years back, and that scared some people temporarily, and that did make values go down a little bit. But the bridge is repaired and fully open, and that chapter is completely closed, and the buyers who purchased during the uncertainty have actually done really well. The commute, West Seattle connects to downtown via the bridge, and eventually light rail, we think. So drive time to downtown ranges from 10 minutes in the off-peak hours to 30 minutes or more in rush hour traffic. It's definitely worth visiting at 8 a.m. before you decide, because it can really vary what time the traffic takes. This neighborhood works well for buyers who want walkable neighborhood character and those who want a single family home without going full suburban lifestyle, and people who value waterfront access, because Alki Beach is literally right there. Okay, number 2, technically its own city, not Seattle proper, but it's directly north of the city line, and it's on the light rail now, which has changed the calculation significantly about getting here. And the value here is pretty straightforward. You get substantially more house for the same dollar. We're talking 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, single-family homes with actual yards and garages in the $700,000 to mid $800,000 range. That same budget in Seattle gets you a smaller condo or townhome with completely no yard. The area around the light rail stations is actively being developed in Shoreline, so there's new construction, improved accessibility, better retail. It still has the feel of a quieter, more residential area compared to Seattle proper, which is exactly what a lot of people who live in Shoreline are looking for. Commute to downtown Seattle is about 20 to 25 minutes on the light rail, which is genuinely competitive with driving from so many Seattle neighborhoods during rush hour. If your employer is near a light rail stop, Shoreline becomes a very, very strong option for you now that it's open. Housing stock tends to be newer or mid-century ranches on larger lots, so you can think more square footage, more storage, bigger yards. It's less of the craftsman character you get in the city. It's a little bit more practical space. And so this works well for buyers who want single family space without going all the way to the suburbs or the east side, or first-time buyers trying to maximize their square footage, and absolutely anyone prioritizing a light rail commute to downtown or the U District. Columbia City is one of the most underrated neighborhoods in Seattle for buyers coming from out of state. The restaurant scene there is genuinely exceptional. There's award-winning spots, great coffee, a weekly farmers market, and the accessible commercial strip along Rainier Ave has a ton of character. It's been described as up and coming for about a decade, which honestly usually means that the best appreciation has already happened in the neighborhood, but the lifestyle quality is very real and it's still priced meaningfully below neighborhoods north of downtown. So home prices for single family in Columbia City are anywhere from $600,000 to $800,000. A lot of the housing stock is craftsman style bungalows from the early 1900s. So you can think well built, charming, they hold a lot of value, and the light rail runs directly through the neighborhood, which keeps the demand strong because you have access to the airport or going into the city. What I always tell buyers considering Columbia City is go walk Rainier Ave on a Saturday morning. Spend 2 hours there. If you feel at home, you'll love living here. If it's not your vibe, that's useful information too. This neighborhood typically works well for buyers who want an accessible neighborhood with strong food and coffee culture, and people who want a craftsman home with some history to it. And buyers who have maybe been priced out of places like Capitol Hill or First Hill, but want a similar in-city feel, this is your spot. If your job is on the east side, think Microsoft, Google, any of the tech corridor companies in Bellevue, I want to have an honest conversation with you about geography, because commuting from Seattle proper to the east side means crossing Lake Washington, which adds significant time and unpredictability to your daily life. Both bridges, I-90 and 520, have peak hour congestion that can literally turn that 12-mile trip into over an hour in commute time. Redmond and the surrounding area can solve that problem for you. You're about a 10 to 20 minute drive from the major east side tech campuses, and you oftentimes get newer construction, larger homes, more garage space, and quieter streets. Home prices are comparable to Seattle for sure, but you get significantly more square footage in Redmond. The trade-off though here is clear. It's definitely a more suburban feel. You give up the density and the accessibility by foot of city living. There's way less nightlife, and there's not as much in terms of the restaurant scene, although it is getting better, and there's more of a parks and trails scene. Merrimore Park is one of the most fantastic parks in Redmond. For a lot of buyers, especially those who spend most of their recreational time outdoors, that's a perfectly fine trade, or if you have a dog, this might be a great trade too. And typically this neighborhood works well for east side tech workers who want to minimize their commute time, or buyers who want newer construction homes and more interior square footage, or maybe people who prioritize proximity to trails and open space over the urban lifestyle that Seattle might offer. Okay, number 5, Ballard is for buyers who want to be in a neighborhood that feels fully realized. It's established, it's super accessible by foot, genuinely enjoyable to live in every day. There's a strong restaurant and bar scene, the Ballard Locks are just a few minutes away, and Golden Gardens Beach is right there. The Sunday farmers market in Ballard is one of the best in the city, if not the best. It has the combination of the maritime history of it being an old shipyard and modern Seattle energy that's hard to find in a lot of other neighborhoods. But here's the price reality. Ballard is not cheap. Single family homes start in the mid 800,000s and move up very quickly from there. But the demand in Ballard is consistent. Supply is low, and so values here do hold well. The commute when you're in Ballard is northwest of downtown with no direct light rail connection yet. We think that's coming, but it's not here. Most people drive or take the bus, so it's about 15 to 25 minutes to downtown off peak and longer when there is traffic. So if you can afford Ballard and you want an urban neighborhood with character, it's one of the strongest long-term buys in the city. So check that out. Okay, I want to be upfront about something before this next section. My job is to give you accurate information about properties and the Seattle market, not to tell you where to live. The two areas I'm about to describe aren't bad places to be. They have specific property and land use characteristics that I've found catch most out-of-state or out-of-market buyers off guard, and I'd rather tell you up front now than have you figure it out after you've closed and already have the keys. So let's talk about Belltown. Understand what you're buying before you fall in love with the price in Belltown. Belltown sits right between downtown and South Lake Union, and the location looks absolutely incredible on a map. You're close to Pike Place Market, the waterfront, you have everything at your doorstep. And the condo prices per square foot can look attractive compared to places like Capitol Hill or First Hill. But here's what buyers often don't account for when they're thinking about Belltown. Belltown is a high-rise condo market, which means a lot of HOA dues. We're talking anywhere from $600 to $1,100 per month in many buildings on top of your monthly mortgage. When you factor that in, the lower price per square foot often stops looking like a deal. The buildings vary significantly in quality. Some have well-funded reserves and professional management, while others are older and dealing with deferred maintenance. So before you make an offer on any Belltown condo, I want to see the reserve study and the last 12 months of HOA meeting minutes, because we're going to review that for sure. And the same standard I apply to any condo purchase, because you want to look at that HOA math. And beyond the math, Belltown is an entertainment and hospitality district. It has all the bars, the restaurants, the clubs, which is great if you want to just step outside downstairs to a great dinner. It's a different experience if you're someone who wants a quiet and residential feel. The street level activity at 11 p.m. on a Friday is very different from Capitol Hill in some areas or West Seattle. Not the wrong choice for everyone, but go in with your eyes open on the full monthly costs and the lifestyle reality. I've lived in Belltown. I loved it, but it was for a specific style of life at that time. Now, second is going to be SoDo. So SoDo is named after south of downtown, abbreviated, and it's primarily zoned industrial and commercial. There's definitely a little bit of residential mixed in, and the prices can look very attractive compared to neighboring areas. But what buyers don't always understand until they've spent time there is SoDo is surrounded by active industrial operations. Aside from the stadiums that you have down there, you have rail yards, port facilities, a lot of warehouses. You do have some event venues, and during a Seahawks or Sounders game, the area will transform entirely. During off hours is a working industrial district, which means truck noise, a ton of driving, freight, and very different street level experience than a residential neighborhood. And there's also very limited retail in SoDo itself and dining. You're not really gonna just walk outside to a coffee shop or a grocery store. The amenities most buyers expect when they live in an urban area aren't present in the same way in SoDo that they would be in like Capitol Hill. If you work downtown and want to minimize commute and you spend most of your time outdoors or traveling and you just need a home base, the price point could make sense for that situation. But for most relocation buyers I work with, the same budget in West Seattle or Shoreline or Columbia City delivers significantly more of what they came to Seattle for. Now, don't get me wrong, if you can walk to the Seahawks game, that's also a benefit. All of that to say, every buyer is different. Everything I said today is a generalization, a starting point. The right neighborhood for you comes down to your commute situation, how you spend your time, your price ceiling, and what you want to feel when you walk out your front door in the morning. That's the conversation I have with every buyer I work with before we ever look at a single house listing. I do these consultations over Zoom completely free for people who are about 3 to 18 months from their move date. If you want to book one, the link is in the description below to do that, and the relocation blueprint is there also. It goes deeper into all of these neighborhoods and includes price ranges, commute data, and the questions I'd ask you to help narrow down your search. I'm Brennan Claus with the Emerald Group at Real. Subscribe because I put out new buyer-focused videos every single week, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.